Good morning, ATD family. We are back. It has been 3 long, grueling weeks of waiting to get back on. Bill and I have been doing extensive amounts of traveling, spending some time with friends and family, and just doing what we do outside of ATD. But we are back. We are here to bring you an all-star break recap and talk about what we think is going to start coming in the second half of the year. As we always do, we're going to start this off the best way. Baseball Bill, how are you doing on this beautiful Saturday?
Saturday feels like Saturday because I'm here with you. It's almost like when I was growing up as a kid. Saturday morning, I get up, I have my bowl of Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch. I'd watch the Flintstones, and then I'd watch This Week in Baseball. So it's always good when we're filming. Let's do it. Let's go.
I'm excited. It was a crazy last week. It's been a crazy last couple of weeks. We haven't been able to talk about it, but we're not going to talk about the past. We're going to talk about the most recent history in baseball, and that is this past week's All-Star game and All-Star break. It was a great week of being able to take a step back from baseball, from enjoying and celebrating your own team, and celebrate your league. So, Bill, what were some highlights that you found from the All-Star break?
Definitely not the jerseys and the uniforms. I want to go back to you wearing your own jerseys,
Mhm.
own uniforms. Highlights. It was a very good game. I mean, the American League has some amazing pitching. Mason Miller was throwing like 117 miles an hour as a changeup. I mean, it was some amazing pitching that you saw. Shohei went 3-run bomb. Um, Durant went bomb, 2-run bomb to give them the lead. I mean, it was a fun game to watch. And
Yeah.
so
It
I
was
was
a back and
excited
forth
about that.
game.
What's that?
It was a good back and forth game. It wasn't like everyone was in competition the whole time. The National League was in it to the end. That's the way you want to see this All-Star game. That's the way you always want to
100%.
see the All-Star game. Um,
100%.
I agree with you on the jersey front. These might have been the ugliest jerseys in All-Star game history, if you
Yeah.
ask.
I mean, these are almost as bad as the City Connect Padre jerseys. Not that bad, but almost as bad.
Miami Vice.
Yeah. And like cue the synthesizer when you see those things. Do. I mean, come on. But
Yeah,
anyways, great, great All-Star game.
I actually would have gone and said those Met City Connect jerseys because I think those things are hideous. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, I
Uh,
like those. I like those.
we'll have who's I think are really good. Cleveland. Cleveland got really good City Connect jerseys, and your new ones. Honestly, as much as I hate to say it, I like your new City Connect jerseys that you
Yeah,
guys put.
the new City Connect jerseys for the 2024 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. I like that.
Yeah, make it past the Phillies. Make it past the Phillies.
What are
Uh,
you shaking your head about?
make it past the Phillies.
What are you
Uh,
shaking your head about? Fourth place.
I I live it. I own it. You got to make it past the Phillies.
Word. Let's talk the
Win,
home run
win,
derby.
win the series against the Phillies.
Let's talk the home run derby.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
who won
yeah,
the
yeah.
home run
Well,
derby?
we also
Who won the home run derby?
before we talk home run derby,
Yes, sir.
we got to give our congratulations to Jaron Duran, a All-Star Game MVP, rocking out with the glass bat, taking home a nice little bonus paycheck for getting that MVP spot.
Bonus.
Thing. Congratulations, Jaron. Rightfully deserved. Can't wait to see you in more All-Star games throughout the rest of your career. Don't hit a slump. Um,
Who won the home run derby?
that home run derby, man, oh man. It was definitely though a downturn in home runs this year in the home run derby.
So, do you remember Harry Doyle when he was announcing he's like back, 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 back. Oh, off, right? So the home run derby, Sam, you didn't get a chance to see it, but the home run derby, Bobby Witt Jr. on his very last swing hits the ball 405 feet 405.5 feet. It bounces off the middle of the wall.
Yeah.
It would have tied the series, but the 2024 world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez won the whole thing. All is right in baseball. Bada bing. I was impressed with Alec Bohm. I was impressed with Bobby Witt Jr. I'm sorry, Jose Ramirez was amazing. Um, Garcia didn't really show up. Pete Alonso didn't really show up. Asuna
I'm
didn't really show up.
no, but
Uh,
to be honest, I don't think any of them showed up. I don't think any of these guys really showed up for a home run derby.
now I see. I disagree. I
Julio
disagree.
Rodriguez in last year's home run derby in the first round hit 41 home runs.
But it was a different home run derby setting. They didn't have only 3 minutes to swing at 40 pitches. The new setting makes it very, very difficult, or you won't see that again. I mean, you literally have 3 minutes and you have 40 pitches. If your pitcher throws an outside pitch, it still counts. So yeah, no, I mean, that first round where Bobby Witt hit 20 and Bohm hit 21 and Teoscar hit 19, those were and um, Jose hit 21. Yeah, those were uh big rounds for that many
I
swings.
I guess, but I like it when you see.
Yes.
No, because I look at a home run derby is not limiting these guys. Like I get it. I kind of like the way they used to do it. 10 strikes. You got or like 10 like remember back in the day it was like
10
10
outs.
strikeouts and like if you hit 10 strikeouts you're done.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be played. That is
Yeah.
the way I look at the home run derby and how it should be done. This,
Yeah.
oh, you only got 3 minutes. Oh, you've got 40 pitches.
Well,
You
so
go
the
to a
10
home run
outs,
derby to try to catch a home run ball. And if you're
10
limiting
outs,
guys to 3 minutes, it's boring.
but 10 outs. So if you take your time in between pitches, 10 outs, right? And somebody hits 41 in a round, that means that's 51 pitch balls. That could take that could take close to an hour
I'm not,
just in that.
so I'm not saying to go to the extreme of it how it was back in the day where you have time between your pitches. I still think you have to give the batters the same you have to go with this like the way it's done now. You've got 15 seconds between a pitch. That's how long you have between your pitches to get set for the next one. But you still have 10 strikes. I think if you did it that way, I don't think it would, and you still get one timeout. I, I don't see that as me. Honestly, I think that would work out the best. Again, because you can make it, it could still be 3 minutes. You could get 10 strikes and be done in a minute and 30 seconds. You know what I mean? It's like, that's my opinion on it. Again, I look at it as you're limiting it to 3 minutes now. Now they're just trying to condense it into a time block. That's what I look at it as. That's how they literally set it up. Think about it. They set it up so you have to fit within a 2 hour time block.
Which is great because back when Chris Berman, and I miss Chris Berman, back gone. Back when those days, that was a 4, sometimes 5 hour home run derby. It's too much. It's too long. It's too
I
long.
mean, yes, but that's why I think if you go to that extent where you're giving batters unlimited time between pitches to get ready for their next pitch and you're just doing 10 strikes, yeah, then it will take 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours. And I agree, that is an absurd amount of time. But I do believe if you go with the way baseball is today, how batters have 15 seconds between between one pitch and another to get set for the pitch. I think going the way of it in the past would work today. And yeah, maybe it'd be 3 hours, but I don't think 3 hours for a home run derby is too long. Again, you're
That
paying
depends.
money to go there, and the goal of going to a home run derby is for fans to potentially catch home run balls.
So all I noticed is I noticed that everybody here that participated is in the playoff hunt. Nobody here is in fourth place. I just noticed that.
When you lose to the Phillies in the National League Championship game,
Uh,
I'm gonna come and say the fourth place Major League Baseball Los Angeles Dodgers.
yeah, absolutely. And then I'll say the 2025 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers, but right now it's 2024. No,
Well,
this was actually a good home run derby. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was actually a fun home run derby.
I'm not upset. I'm not upset by obviously the home run derby is always a fun time. The players get
Yes.
to take a step back. You get to have a good time. I just look at the home run derby as a whole and saying I I am not a fan of a condensed home run derby that's meant to fit into a 2 hour time block. I loved the home run derbies where Vlad was hitting 40 in a round, or Jock hit 39. Pete Alonso 35 back in 2021. Like that. I was like, holy. Like that's how Pete Alonso became, blew up.
Yeah. Truth. If it wasn't for the home run derby, people still wouldn't know who Pete Alonso is.
Honestly, that's right. So
And
that's why I look at the home run derby as being that.
so
But
and we gotta
I
we
could
gotta
talk
make sure
about
we
this
call
more.
Pete Alonso the right name. It's Pete. I can't find a jersey that fits me correctly, Alonso.
You're right. You're right.
Let's call it the whole name. Let's call a spade a spade.
But in a nutshell, congrats, Hernandez, winning the home run derby, taking home that nice trophy, and as well a nice little bump in pay for your troubles of hitting home runs, which
Yes.
is what you're paid to do anyway. Um, with the All-Star break behind us, we now look in anticipation to the next 20 days or 10 days, 11 days. Is it 10 days or 11 days? I can't remember.
It's it's 11, but
There's 31 days in July. I can never remember how many days are in July.
how old are you?
Sometimes I don't even know that, so I'm not even going to answer
I
it.
mean, July and August are the back-to-back months with 31 days. Just remember that.
Oh, that okay. Well, that's it. No, I appreciate you sharing that. Now I can remember, man. See, look, we learn something new every day.
There's
With the
32
next
days in
11 days,
February, and there's 31 days in July and August.
yes. Well, there's 29 days in February during a leap year.
There you go. Okay, good. Now that we, for
Well,
you
you want to know
listening
the
to
easiest
Around the
way to
Diamond,
remember a leap year? Every
4 years.
election cycle is a leap year.
So for you, Top Fan Rivalry, Around the Diamond fans, we are just here to give you calendars. That's as good as we did. Sam and I both have PhDs. We both have public high school diplomas. So we are all good with that public high school diploma. Sam, let's talk trade deadline. Let's talk second half. Let's
Yeah,
talk Garrett,
as
Karate, Danielson, Crochet there.
as with the next 11 days in front of us, we are looking at this trade deadline with a fine tooth comb. And right now, when you look at who the top 5 potential trade leaders are, it's these 5 guys right here. And I don't think there's any question about that. Bill, out of these 5, who do you see as most likely to be dealt?
Boba Fett. To be. I think Pete's going to end up staying in New York. He may not stay in Queens. He may end up in the Bronx. Although Ben Rice looks really really good over there. So heads up, Anthony Rizzo. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will end up in Anaheim. He's got one more year of team control, but I'll bet you he ends up in Anaheim. David Crockett, aka Garrett Crochet, is going to stay put. And so yeah, I'm going on this list. I'm going Bo Bichette.
So, if you're going Bo Bichette, where do you see his most likely landing spot to be?
So there's a number of places that have been talked about. Obviously, the Giants have been talked about. The Dodgers have been talked about. Even believe it or not, even they've even talked to a little bit about the Padres, which I that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But if I were a betting man, I would say yes, he goes. Where he goes, I have no clue. Um,
I
yeah, I
I
know where
I
you want him to go, but I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I personally would love to see Bo come to the Giants. I think it makes the most sense for both teams across the board. Um the player who I believe would be who would be dealt in that trade definitely be our rookie Marco Luciano. I would hate to see that happen. However, um, I think when you're looking at what the Giants are trying to do long term right now is
Yep.
they're trying to get some stars there and lock them in
Yeah.
as you're continuing to grow with the potential free agents that are coming out at the end of the season, like a Juan Soto, like some other guys at the end of their contracts. I mean, I haven't even we haven't even started talking free agency for this year, and that's going to
Right.
be a huge episode that no one is going to want to miss. But I think Bo to the Giants does make a lot of sense. I think he would play well in San Francisco. I think he would actually hit really well in San Francisco, being a right-handed hitter, having the wind coming off the bay to help lift that ball. I mean, I can see him really being successful. The one that's actually kind of shocking, and it'd be interesting if he was traded to see where he would go would be the determining one. Jazz. Because Jazz has tried to transition like a Mookie Betts from the outfield to the infield. Now, the difference between Mookie and Jazz is that Mookie's had infield experience being a second baseman, but he's just having a hard time transitioning on the shortstop side. Whereas Jazz is not a natural infielder, and he is just not doing well. So, what
Yeah.
do you look at with Jazz in this entire trade deadline scenario?
I don't know that he moves for the exact same reasons that you just said. I do not think he moves because of that. A lot of teams right now are really, really, really top heavy with outfielders, and they don't need an infielder that's a liability, especially teams. So the teams that are sellers are the teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. The teams that are buyers are the ones that are just trying to get over that hump. Keep in mind, Sammy, as of this morning, you have within 4 games in the National League, you have 9 teams in the wild card spot that are within 4 games. You have 3 teams that are leading the division. That's 12. 9 plus 3 is 12. Last time I checked. Again, public high school diploma right here, which means 12, 15 minus 12 is 3. That means there's 3 teams that aren't in contention. So Colorado, Miami, and Washington are currently not really in contention. So at the end of the day, I don't know that Jazz gets moved. I really don't. Now, if you were playing lights out in the infield, that'd be a different story.
Yeah. And I agree with, and that's exactly what you said is my thoughts on that was why I have a really hard time seeing him being dealt. He has not shown potential as an infielder. And I think his only way to bounce back is because my, I'll have to look into this. I don't know how much more time he has under contract with Miami, but yeah, he needs to either move back to the outfield next year in Miami, or he needs to go to a team at the end of this season if he's out of contract to a team that needs
Yeah,
an outfielder. I
100%.
mean, he can't play the infield. It's not a thing against his skills. He's obviously an exceptionally talented player. He's just not a talented infielder.
100%. 100%.
And I think it's also impacted his hitting this year, if anything.
100%. 100%.
So it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the next 11 days. Make sure you are staying tuned to ATD. We will definitely
ATD.
have this as a topic of conversation over the next couple of weeks.
Just,
Um, now
just, re-
let's look.
just remember 15 minus 12 is 3. 9 plus 3, I'm sorry, 9 plus 3 is 12. Just trying to give you a little math on a
I
Saturday morning.
appreciate that.
No problem. No, everybody that's listening, please write that down.
Yes. Let's just take a look at where teams sit post All-Star break. We've only had one game since, so we're not going to go too much into this. Bill, do you want the AL or you want me to take it this
I'll
week?
take the AL.
Go for
Um,
it.
the Yankees are 1 game behind the Orioles. The Yankees will still win that division. Boston, Boston, Boston is looking amazing. Cleveland is not slowing down. The Royals are. So that's going to be a little unique. White Sox just I hope you don't lose 115 games. And look what the AL division is. You now have a tie for first place. At the beginning of June, the Astros were down by 10 games. They have turned it around. So
They
this is
are
this is
they
huge.
are they are 0.001% higher than the Mariners right now.
There you go.
When I saw that average, I was like, this just got very, very interesting. I
Right.
mean, man, did the Ash did the did the American League West did the Astros show that they are just such an exceptional team that they can come back from anything, or did the rest of the AL West just completely deflate to
Yes.
allow the Astros to get to where they are?
Yes.
Elaborate.
Yes to both. The Rangers and Mariners did not stick their foot on the throat of the Astros when they needed to. The Astros are a very resilient team. They still have a lot of World Series champions in that group. So yeah, it's no, I'm yes, 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 yes,
Do you see the Astros in the next couple of years taking a dip?
yes. Unless they make some changes.
Okay. Yeah, the AL West is just completely insane. This has now become the division to watch, and it's going to be fun to watch this division for the next 60 plus games as we round the year out.
Yeah.
Um, really keep an eye on that division. AL Central, I still see it being a really tough battle between the Guardians, Twins, and Royals. Guardians have been playing stellar all year, but I do see potential dip coming. I don't see this continued trend of upward success holding. I do see there probably being a slight dip as we go between the trade deadline and the, beginning of August. I see a little dip, but not much. But I think that'll give the Twins and the Royals some bump up period. And yeah, what can you not say about the Red Sox? The Red Sox could potentially be could potentially be the hottest team in baseball right now with just the way they've been playing.
With the
Keep an eye on this
exception,
team.
with the exception, you never walk Will Smith to get to Freddie Freeman. The
Yes,
bases loaded.
yes, yes, yes. After last night, you're stupid. Moving over to the National League, the Phillies are doing what the Phillies do. First team to 60 wins this season. I mean, they're just playing incredible baseball. It's, you know, I live 10 minutes from the city, and let me tell you, this city is electric with the way the Phillies are playing right now. Um, if the Phillies can keep this momentum going, and ride this train through August, it is going to be really, really tough for any team to say that they're going to be able to compete with them in the post, when we get to the playoffs. Braves are trying to maintain some dignity there, but Mets are fighting. They are trying to fight for that second place spot in the National League East. Really trying to move themselves up in that wild card spot standings for the NL. So keep an eye on that. Moving into the Central, Braves and Cardinals, man, these guys are fight. I mean, the Brewers and Cardinals are fighting it out. Pirates are not doing as well as we had thought, but they are still trying to keep a strong hold. Reds have taken a dip, and I mean the Cubs are doing the same. It's kind of weird to see what's happening with the Cubs and the Reds because those were two teams we were really high on at the beginning of the season. Moving over to the West, Dodgers are still doing what Dodgers do. Um, you know, Great win last night. As Bill said, you do not walk Will Smith to get to Freddie Freeman. That was not a smart move. Freddie getting that, you know, just over the fence home run in, right field to get that grand slam. Yeah, don't load the bases for Freddie Freeman. If you're a pitcher listening to this, just if Freddie Freeman's next in the on bat circle and you have two men on, do not load it. You've got a greater chance of him hitting a grand slam than you winning the lottery. So just keep that in mind. D-backs and Padres fighting for second place. Giants, while in fourth place right now, have some things coming back over the next couple of weeks that I think will help propel them to move up into third and fight for that second place battle. Keep an eye on the West divisions in the second half, because these two divisions in the second half are going to be dog fights throughout the rest of the season. Bill, give it to me.
Phillies, I like the Phillies. Pay attention to the Mets. The Mets could outdo the Braves. Heads up, heads up, heads up. The Central Division is still anybody's game. I know the Cubs only have 47 wins and the Brewers have 55. There's a lot of movement. Go look at those schedules. The Dodgers are doing what the Dodgers do. Sam, I've got a question for you on that in a second. Nothing makes me happier to see the Dodgers in first place and the Giants in fourth. That is like the baseball gods speaking truth. I am just hoping that the Rockies can outdo the Giants this year. There's only a 12-game separation. I'm looking for that happening this year. Blake Snell has been absolutely fantastic for the Giants. He's getting paid $650 million.
Was this supposed to just be a Giants passing session, or were you going to talk about the National?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna talk about the National League too, but I'm just getting in what I need to get in. So, Sam, I got a question for you. If you're in the dugout yesterday, you are Alex Cora. You are in the dugout yesterday. Do you go lefty-lefty matchup? Do you actually walk Will Smith? Now, given the fact that it's first and
That's the
second,
question you wanted to ask me? No, I am not walking Will Smith to get to Freddie Freeman. There is no way on the planet I would ever make that call. I would rather go up against the catcher
yeah,
than a
that's what I'm
first
talking
baseman
about.
any day of the week. It might have been it might go down as the worst call of Alex Cora's career, but he's going to have to live with it. And look, he owned it. I mean, it's not like he shied away from it. He owned it. It is
So,
what it is. He made the
so
call.
and this has nothing to do with the Dodgers. I'm sorry, there's nothing to do with the Dodgers. The way that I looked at this was you had first and second, you had the catcher up with one out. You're only up by one run. It's the eighth inning. If you walk a batter to go lefty on lefty, right? Then a base hit. So let's just assume Freddie Freeman got a base hit, right? Now you're going to score two runs. You're going to be down by a run. What are the odds that you can double up a catcher? Now, mind you, that catcher's been hot at the bat, but what are the odds that you're going to get a double play out of that? I like my odds better that way. When they walked Will Smith, I didn't understand because you actually were putting the go-ahead run in scoring position
It
for a
made
lefty on lefty matchup.
it made zero sense. And I think the thing Alex Need should have really looked at is how good his lefty is against lefties.
Yeah.
And especially a lefty of Freddie Freeman's caliber. If you're going up against a second rated, a second tier lefty, I would take if his lefty pitcher was going up against a second tier lefty pitcher, I would take that matchup with bases loaded, because I would expect that lefty batter to most likely hit into a double play.
100%. 100%. I just, and I'm not talking about Dodgers here. I'm just talking about baseball as a game. I didn't like that move, and I wanted to see if you would have made the same move.
Yeah, no, I would not have made that move.
Okay.
That is the dumbest move Alex Cora could have ever made. Again, second a second tier lefty pitcher going up against a second tier lefty batter.
Yep.
I would
Yep.
take that move all day. I would take that move all day. I would absolutely walk him intentional, give him 4 rested pitches, and let him go. But I'm not putting a second tier lefty pitcher against a tier 1 lefty batter. That is dumb. That is dumb baseball management, and Alex Cora is going to have to live with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sam is very quiet, does not have an opinion, and he just voiced it.
Yeah, well,
I
and
love it.
I voice my opinion when you as a manager who's getting paid millions of dollars don't look at the analytics and you make a stupid call.
True. True.
Gabe Kepler did it for the last 4 years as the Giants manager, and I mean, I bashed on him every day I could. So
There you go. There
anyway,
you go. All right.
looking at the stats, we're not really gonna we won't dwell too much into this. But Stephen Kwan, man, coming out from Cleveland and just racking up that batting average, bro. He's killing it at the batting average level right now. I mean, there's no one
100%.
better than and RBIs, Judge is on another level right now. He is just crushing it. I see 100. I could easily see maybe 200 RBIs out of him this year. If he can potentially get on a streak in the second half of the season over the next 60 something games, I think we could see close to a 200 RBI batter this year. Honestly,
200 RBIs. He's got 86.
I didn't say he would hit 200. I say he would get close to 200. Closer than we've seen in the last couple of years, at least.
Okay. I like that. On the pitching side, Chris Sale is doing Chris Sale things. Seth Lugo is back to being Seth Lugo. Look at Baltimore. They have two pitchers in double-digit wins. Garrett Crochet leading the strikeout reigns. Imagine if Dylan Cease still played for the White Sox. You'd have two pitchers with 300 strikeouts combined. That would have been huge.
Yeah.
Ha.
Stolen bases. It's been a couple of weeks since we've taken a look at this, but not as big of a stolen base jump as we would have thought. Obviously, Ellie is still killing it in the home run count, but what you're not seeing on this list is who is tied for fifth place in the stolen base count, and that is Shohei Ohtani.
Point, point.
Um, Bill, I'm going to ask you two quick questions. First, will we exceed the total stolen base count this year and beat last year's number?
No, we will not.
How? And it's a two-part question. How below the mark will we be?
200.
Fair enough. And will Shohei Ohtani be a 40-40 guy this year?
Point. That means
Quite.
yes.
Oh, okay. It's going to be interesting to see what Shohei does over the second half.
Yeah, we'll put him up on I'm sorry, on ATD here in the next couple of weeks. There's a couple of people like Ellie De La Cruz. Will he steal 100 bases? Will Shohei go 40-40 guy? Will the Giants lose 100 games? Things like that. And
The
so
Giants are not going to lose 100 games.
we'll put those statistics up here pretty. Will Blake Snell get 3 wins this season? I mean,
Maybe.
Okay.
Going
Let's
to
talk
home
home runs.
runs, though, we have hit the button on the nose,
3,200.
and we are at 3,200 home runs flat. So, Bill, I'm going to ask you the same question, but in a different way. How many will we exceed the home run count from last year, and by how many?
6,000.
Okay.
6,000 home runs. And so about 132 more. Now, there is something that you need to know, Sammy. Big Dave, your good buddy, Big Dave, has challenged me to create an over-under for Aaron Arson Judge. I said 58, and I said 58 or the under. Big Dave took 58 or took 59 or over, and it is the ice bucket challenge. So if I'm right, Dave's got to pour a bucket of ice water over his head. If I'm wrong, I got to do it. So what do you think? Who do you think's got the edge in that one, sir?
I think Big Dave has it in the over.
Whoa, really?
I do. I think he will. I think he'll hit 60.
Really? I actually think Aaron's going to hit, they have 64 games left. I actually think Aaron's going to hit 57 this season, which is
It's going to be
amazing.
close. I love this bet between you guys, and it's going to be a close bet. And I think it's so close that it could go either way. That's why it's tough to say it. But I think he's just going to either hit like 59 or 60. Like I don't think he's going to exceed that. But I think
I
he's
got
going to
Big Dave on the phone. Big Dave? Yeah. Sam thinks you're crazy. Yeah. Sam doesn't think that you're gonna. Sam thinks you're stupid.
Ah.
No, I'm not gonna. Whoa, I'm not gonna tell him that. Anyways, all right, yeah. I gotta go. I'm filming, man. I gotta go. Bye. He said a few things that I probably shouldn't repeat. Anyways, all right.
Bill, as we wrap the show up, and as we always do, take us through the schedule for your podcast this
Ashley
coming
is
week.
an amazing guest. She was fantastic. Uh, Yankee fan, a lot of fun. I loved her passion. I loved what she talked about. I loved how she became a Yankees fan and how her family became Yankees fans. Philip did a cross country road trip where he was in every state from South Carolina, where he lives, down to California. Hit a number of ballparks. He talks to us about that on Tuesday. Wednesday, Maggie, new podcast guest. She has an amazing story and her life and what life has led her. Jess has been absolutely phenomenal guest. She's a Reds fan. And then Tom comes to us all the way from the UK. Welcome to the
Wow.
clubhouse, Tom. Yes, our second guest in the
International
UK.
now. Is this our first?
Yeah,
Is this the first international guest?
second one. Second one. We had one last week, but we didn't have a show last week to talk about it. So
Gotcha.
I am so impressed with these guests. Ashley leads the week off like absolutely amazing. You got to hear her story. Sam, these people this week, they have stories from being a first generation American where their family came from a different country and they listened to Yankees games in the car to learn English, to a cross country road trip, to being an orphan and going to a baseball game, to
That's
the love
awesome.
for their city, to being international. Like it is absolutely, this week is phenomenal, Sam.
That's awesome. I can't wait to do a recap of them. But as we end the show, we are always so thankful that you are able to join us. Make sure you are always checking out TopFanRivalry.com for new articles, podcasts, and the merchandise. You can get one of these custom dugout mugs. It's got the Top Fan Rivalry logo on it, and guess what? You can get your favorite team on the back. Oh my God! And you guess what else? If you go there and you use the code ATD, it'll get you 10% off the purchase price of it. So make sure you are not only signing up to be behind the locker room to see all of these ATD shows that we have done, but make sure you are also getting there and using that ATD code to get 10% off all of your merch that you can get on TopFanRivalry.com. Baseball Bill, any final words for the fans out there?
No, this has been great. Everybody, we ran a little long, but we haven't been on for 3 weeks. We will start getting guests on at the beginning of the month. Appreciate you, Sam. Everything you do for this show is absolutely amazing. I have to tell everybody, if it wasn't for Sam, this show doesn't exist. He does such a phenomenal job. He and I will not have a show next week because we will be sitting together in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. But Sam, I just love everything you do for the show and everything you do for Top Fans. So thank you so much. Top Fan Rivalry followers, make sure you're giving Sam a little bit of love in the comment section. If you're watching this in the locker room, great. If you're watching it on YouTube, even better. But you're going to want to be a locker room member because we are going to have exclusive events in August that you can't get into unless you're a locker room member. So, Sam, have
Got
a
to
great
get there
week.
and sign up. That's how you got
Yep.
to do it.
Have a
So
great week, and we'll talk to you next
thank
week.
thank you so much for joining us this week. And as always, we will see you on the field in 2 weeks.
Mhm.